The management of any complex endeavor necessitates a methodical approach to decomposition. In project management, the indispensable tool for this is the Work Breakdown Structure, WBS. It is a foundational chart that breaks down the total scope of a project into smaller, more manageable pieces. The Project Management Body of Knowledge, PMBOK Registered Trademark Guide, a globally recognized guide of standards and best practices published by the Project Management Institute, defines the WBS as a hierarchical decomposition of the total scope of work to be carried out by the project team to accomplish the project objectives and create the required deliverables. This definition underscores a critical point. The WBS is fundamentally deliverable-oriented, not activity-oriented. It is a map of what will be delivered, not how the work will be done. The 100% rule. This is the cardinal principle of WBS construction. The sum of the work at the child level must equal 100% of the work represented by the parent. Furthermore, the WBS as a whole must contain 100% of the work defined in the project scope statement, capturing all deliverables, including project management itself. This ensures no work is overlooked, scope gap, and no extraneous work is included, scope creep. Hierarchical decomposition. The process begins with the project's final deliverable at the top level. This is then progressively subdivided into major deliverables, which are in turn broken down into smaller, more manageable components. This decomposition continues until the work is defined at a level suitable for effective management. Work packages. The lowest level of any WBS branch is the work package. A work package is the point at which the work can be reliably estimated in terms of cost and duration, and can be assigned to a specific individual, team, or department for execution and control. It represents a tangible, verifiable piece of work. The WBS Dictionary. A comprehensive WBS is not just the diagram itself, it is supported by a WBS dictionary. This is a detailed document that provides narrative descriptions for each component in the WBS. For each work package, the dictionary might include a statement of work, responsible organization, schedule milestones, quality requirements, and cost estimates. It provides the clarity and detail that the hierarchical chart cannot. The WBS can be structured in various ways, depending on the nature of the project. Phase-based, organized around the project lifecycle phases, for example, design, build, test, deploy. Deliverable-based, organized by the major components of the final product, as in the example below. Geographical or departmental, organized by location or the functional departments responsible for the work. In an Indian context, a national project might be broken down by state or zone. Example of a simple WBS for a new website development project. 1. New website. 1.1 Project management. 1.2 Requirements definition. 1. 2.1 User personas. 1. 2.2 Functional specification. 1.3 Website design. 1. 3.1 Wireframes. 1. 3.2 Visual models. 1.4 Website development. 1. 4.1 Front-end development. 4.2 Back-end development, CMS. 1. 4.3 Database setup. 1.5 Content creation. 1.6 Testing and deployment. 1. 6.1 User acceptance testing. UAT. 1. 6.2 Server deployment. The WBS is arguably the most critical planning document, as it forms the baseline for scope. From it, all subsequent planning for time, cost, resources, and risk is derived. Every project follows a life cycle, a sequence of phases that provides the fundamental framework for governance and control. A project phase is a collection of logically related project activities that culminates in the completion of one or more major deliverables. The transition from one phase to another is often marked by a phase gate review, also known as a stage gate or kill point. At this review, the project's performance is evaluated against its business case to determine if it should continue to the next phase, continue with modifications, or be terminated. It is essential to distinguish the project life cycle from the project management process groups: initiating, planning, executing, monitoring and controlling, and closing. The The process groups are sets of activities that are performed within each phase of the life cycle. The choice of life cycle is a strategic decision determined by the project's stability of requirements and degree of uncertainty. Predictive or waterfall life cycle. This is a traditional sequential model. The project scope, timeline, and cost are determined in detail early in the life cycle. Each phase must be fully completed before the next phase begins. This approach maximizes control and is well suited for projects where the product is well understood and the environment is stable, such as large-scale infrastructure projects common in India. Iterative life cycle. This model allows for feedback and refinement. The product is developed through a series of repeated cycles, iterations, allowing the team to progressively improve the product based on stakeholder feedback. The scope is generally defined up front, but the iterations allow for the refinement of that scope as the project progresses. Incremental life cycle. This model focuses on delivering a finished, usable deliverable in pieces. The product is developed through a series of iterations, each of which adds a new piece of functionality. The final deliverable is considered complete only after the final increment is delivered. Adaptive or agile life cycle. This model is designed for high uncertainty environments where requirements are expected to change. The overall vision is established, but the detailed scope is defined and refined for each iteration, often called a sprint in the Scrum framework. Agile methods prioritize speed, flexibility, and close collaboration with the customer, making them ideal for India's booming software development and tech startup sectors. The formal genesis of a project is marked by documentation that establishes its purpose, justification, and authority. The two primary documents for this are the project brief, charter, and the project proposal. The project brief, or project charter. This is the foundational internal authorization document that officially sanctions the project and gives it legitimacy within the organization. It is typically issued and signed by the project sponsor. Its primary functions are to formally announce the project and its objectives, grant the project manager the authority to plan, execute, and apply organizational resources, define the high-level scope, key deliverables, and success criteria, identify the project sponsor, key stakeholders, and the project manager, outline the summary budget, milestone schedule, and significant known risks. The Charter acts as a contract between the project sponsor and the project manager, establishing the framework for project governance. The project proposal. The proposal is fundamentally a persuasion or sales document, whether for internal funding or an external client. Its purpose is to present a compelling business case and a credible plan of execution to convince decision-makers to invest in or procure the project. A robust proposal typically includes a detailed problem statement and analysis of the business need, a proposed solution, including the technical approach and methodology, a comprehensive analysis of the expected benefits, including financial metrics like return on investment, ROI, a calculation of the profitability of an investment relative to its cost, or net present value, NPV, which determines the current value of a future stream of payments in rupees or another currency. A more detailed scope statement, timeline, and budget than found in the Charter. An initial risk assessment and mitigation strategy. Effective project governance hinges on a clearly defined structure of roles and responsibilities, ensuring accountability and clear lines of communication. Project sponsor or executive. As the project's champion, the sponsor is the senior manager who is ultimately accountable for ensuring the project delivers its intended business value. They secure financial resources, approve the charter and baseline plans, act as the final arbiter on issues exceeding the PM's authority, and are responsible for benefits realization after the project closes. Project Manager (PM). The project manager is the leader responsible for the day-to-day management of the project and the achievement of its objectives. The PM's authority is often borrowed from the sponsor. They are the primary integrator, responsible for planning the work and then working the plan. Project Team. These are the subject matter experts who perform the hands-on work of creating the project's deliverables. Their responsibility is to complete work packages on time, on budget, and to the required quality standard. Steering Committee. project board. In larger organizations, a steering committee provides strategic oversight. Composed of senior stakeholders, for example, heads of affected departments, its role is to ensure ongoing alignment with business strategy, provide guidance on major issues, and serve as a formal body for approving major changes to scope, schedule, or budget. Stakeholders. A stakeholder is any individual, group, or organization that may affect, be affected by, or perceive itself to be affected by a decision, activity, or outcome of a project. In India, managing stakeholders for an infrastructure project can be particularly complex, involving central, state, and municipal government bodies, local community leaders, regulatory agencies, and private sector partners, each with their own interests. Effective project management requires performing stakeholder analysis, identifying all stakeholders, analyzing their interests and influence, and developing strategies to engage them effectively. Drawing from general systems theory, a systems approach views a project not as a mere list of tasks, but as a complex, integrated system. This perspective is essential for managing the interdependencies that define modern projects. A project system has boundaries, inputs, resources, requirements, a conversion process, the project work, and outputs, the deliverables, all of which interact with the surrounding environment. This approach requires the project manager to act as the primary integrator. This is arguably the most critical role of the PM. They must integrate all knowledge areas, scope, time, cost, risk, etc., and all project elements into a cohesive, functioning whole. Manage interfaces. Interfaces are the points of connection between different tasks, teams, contractors, or systems. These are high-risk areas where miscommunication and friction often occur. The PM must proactively manage these interfaces to ensure a smooth flow of work and information. Understand feedback loops. A project system contains feedback loops. A negative feedback loop is stabilizing. For example, a progress report shows a delay, prompting corrective action to bring the project back on track. A positive feedback loop is amplifying. For example, a team's high morale leads to better performance, which further boosts morale. The PM must recognize and influence these loops. Anticipate emergence. In complex systems, emergent properties can arise, unpredictable outcomes that are not inherent in any single component but emerge from the interaction of all the parts. This explains why even perfectly planned projects can produce unexpected challenges or opportunities. The competencies required for successful project management are multifaceted. The Project Management Institute, PMI, the world's leading professional association for project management, provides a robust framework called the Talent Triangle, registered trademark for categorizing these skills. Technical project management. This is the science of the discipline, the ability to apply project management processes and use the relevant tools and techniques. This includes proficiency in creating a WBS, developing a critical path schedule, performing earned value analysis, and executing formal risk management processes. Leadership. This is the art of project management, centered on guiding and motivating the project team. It encompasses a range of interpersonal skills, including communication, clearly articulating the vision, plans, and status, influencing and negotiating, securing buy-in and resolving conflicts without formal authority, team building and motivation, fostering a collaborative and high-performing team environment, situational leadership, adapting one's leadership style to the needs of the team and the situation. For example, being more directive with a junior team versus adopting a servant leadership style in an agile context to empower a mature team. Strategic and business management. This competency connects the project to the organization's strategy. It requires the PM to understand the business case for the project, speak the language of business, for example, ROI, market share, and ensure the project's outcome delivers tangible business value. It is about understanding the why behind the project, not just the what and how. Engaging external consultants is a strategic decision often made to address specific organizational needs. In the Indian context, this is common in large-scale digital transformation projects and for setting up governance structures in rapidly growing companies. Strategic rationale. Access to specialized expertise. To acquire niche skills not available internally, such as establishing a project management office, PMO, a department that standardizes project governance and facilitates the sharing of resources and best practices, or performing complex quantitative risk analysis. Objectivity and independent assessment, to conduct unbiased health checks or lead recovery efforts for troubled projects, free from the influence of internal politics. Capacity augmentation, to supplement an organization's internal PM capacity during periods of high demand. Mentoring and capability building, to manage a critical project while simultaneously training internal staff, thereby improving the organization's long-term PM maturity. Potential risks, knowledge transfer. A failure to effectively transfer knowledge from the consultant to internal staff can lead to a dependency relationship. Cultural mismatch. A consultant's working style may clash with the organization's culture, creating friction. Cost. Consulting fees are a significant expense that must be justified by the value delivered. The application of these concepts is best understood through distinct scenarios relevant to the modern professional landscape. The IT project manager, agile environment. Project, developing a new feature for a widely used Unified Payments Interface (UPI) application in India. Life cycle, adaptive, Scrum. Academic focus. Her role is that of a servant leader and facilitator. She uses the WBS concept to help the product owner break down large features, epics, into smaller user stories for the product backlog. Her main focus is on managing interfaces between the self-organizing development team and external stakeholders, like partner banks and the National Payments Corporation of India, shielding the team from distractions and removing impediments. Her success is measured by team velocity and the successful adoption of the new feature. The construction project manager, predictive environment. Project, building a new corporate office building in a major Indian metro like Mumbai or Bengaluru. Life cycle, predictive waterfall, with formal phase gate reviews. Academic focus. He is a master of technical project management. His WBS is decomposed to a very low level of detail, with each work package corresponding to a specific subcontractor's scope of work. He uses the WBS dictionary to enforce contractual obligations. His primary activity is integration management, ensuring that dozens of subcontractor schedules and deliverables align perfectly to follow the critical path, while also navigating the complex web of local municipal building codes and environmental clearances. The Indian Infrastructure Project Manager, hybrid environment. Project, constructing a new metro rail line in a Tier 2 Indian city as part of a national infrastructure mission. Life cycle, hybrid. Academic focus, she is a practitioner of systems thinking and an expert in stakeholder management. The overall project structure is a predictive, phase-gated process mandated by government bodies like the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs and NITI Aayog. However, within phases, adaptive approaches may be used for technology implementation, for example, automated fare collection systems. Her key challenge is managing the complex external environment, negotiating land acquisition with local communities, coordinating with multiple government agencies, managing public-private partnership, PPP, contracts, and handling political pressures. Her success depends as much on her negotiation and public relations skills as on her ability to manage the project's schedule and budget.